Alright. Introduced by Papa Smithy. Goodbye. Kog'Maw, blue side ban. Permaban Kog'Maw against that World Elite. Let's see now if World Elite get another Xayah Rakan, because that is the question. Should Samsung just ban Xayah third? I think it's a real possibility, but that leaves Galio, Jarvan in a trade for Janna. Right now, as it stands, there's a lot of good picks out there. There's Sejuani, there's Jarvan. Jungle is not high priority at all. I think Galio Rakan would be the path that World Elite would go against, or just Galio Xayah. I think if you have Xayah Rakan and Galio, you're really happy. I like that Xayah ban. It should lead into a Janna first pick. Could potentially be a Galio first pick here as well. A lot of the premium AD carries are banned, and World Elite would most likely land on like a Janna Twitch. Rakan is still in the picture, and Varus is still in the picture, and Varus is the AD that Ruler is most likely going to pivot towards now, with Tristana being out, Sejuani being banned, which puts Jarvan, Galio, Janna in a trade, and I think World Elite are definitely happy with this. World Elite is just going to go for the Jarvan and the Galio right here, and the main question is if they want to take away the Twitch. The Twitch is like a big question mark, and you know, I just need to think about what other ADs you could potentially pick. There's Sivir that some people have played, there's Varus, Kog'Maw's Auri, you saw some Jinx. Not too sure, let's just wait and see. Like Twitch seems like the sensible one for me. It isn't an AD that can bounce around though. It's like Galio and Jarvan can definitely do a lot of damage to whoever the AD is, and that just makes the Tristana ban make more sense and more sense and more sense. Varus is the one. Don't remember the last time we saw Ruder play Twitch. And Crown with the Malzahar mid lane. This puts Ambition in kind of an awkward situation, because Gragas is going to be a champion that is going to be banned, and I'm assuming the last pick here for World Elite is going to be this, okay. Twitch works for me. It's going to be crazy if World Elite round us off with a Shen and a Taric. That's going to be a fucking comp, man. That's going to be a comp. Malzahar, we have seen it plenty of times against Galio. We've seen it lose, we've seen it win. And the idea behind Malzahar is to be able to be very strong in 2v2 against Galio in mid lane, so you can pressure him and make sure that he doesn't accomplish much in the side lane by just consistently just going for the fight. And Kha'Zix is the ban. I'm assuming Gragas is going to be the next one. Please let it be Gragas. No idea why you would ban Kha'Zix over Gragas when you're playing against Ambition. That is crazy. World Elite could potentially just wait for last pick with the top lane and go for the Shen. At that point in time, Kuve is most likely going to just pick Cho'Gath here. His Cho'Gath has been cheeky to say the least in this tournament. I think Taric and Twitch is a great combo. You know, you can stun people from stealth, and it can be pretty juicy. You can sneak up from behind and do dirty things. Cho'Gath is not the name of the game. Jace is banned, so the counters to Gnar are very slim. We have seen plenty of Gnar pickups blind, and Gragas is going to be the jungler of choice for Gragas. I like the fact that they're picking Gnar over Cho'Gath here. That allows them to, you know, have a more mixed damage composition, and Gnar's win ratio at the tournament. Ooh, 11-5. Ooh, good stuff. I don't know if World Elite should be going for Shen here. That would put them in a situation where they have a bit, maybe too much damage, and like too little damage. The main thing here with Rumble is that he's playing against two carries that are very mobile, and Janna is also not good against Rumble. Like, what can Janna do against Rumble? Nada. She can ult the ult, but then she's gonna, the Rift is gonna smell of Janna barbecue if that happens. So, Rumble is a very good way to round off this composition. Rumble was a ban that C9 did and was criticized for. Let's see if that was rightfully done. A lot of players and a lot of Reddit analysts, they're like, oh, they should have banned this. They should have banned this. Teams that are at fucking semi-finals at the Worlds, most of them have figured out their ban phases and pick and ban phases. And, most of the time it comes down to decisions. It's not about having a bad draft. It's just decisions that they're making. Oh, we're giving up this to trade for this and to do this. And they are very willfully giving away some specific champions because they have an idea in mind. And that is important to remember when you look at people's drafts at this level, And to be honest, looking at World Elite's combo, World Elite's picks here, I am very happy, very happy with the champions. The main thing here for Samsung is that they have strong lanes. But Samsung's identity has never been about winning lane and stomping lane. And Samsung's identity has been the decision making in the later parts of the game. And I feel like that's going to be a lot easier for World Elite. If Twitch reaches 2 items in this game, I think this game is going to be very difficult for Samsung. So it's important that they make sure that they get priority in mid lane. Make sure so they win the 2v2 in mid and then, play into bottom themselves. It's also a question of, Rumble. Bless my face. Always 2 sneezes at the beginning of a game. My nose is a bit stuffed. I don't know what the word is. I have a cold. I guess that is the word. Rumble does in fact pressure Gnar in the early game, so he doesn't have to be scared of that. He presses him in the early game, doesn't get pushed in, and Gnar eventually scales into the match. He itemizes the Frozen Mallet, so he can stick on to the Rumble and commit to longer trades. What is the quality of the video, man? It just dropped. Alright, it's regaining quality. The fucking stream went full Benjamin Button, man. It went from blurry to something better. Ambition gets caught. Oh boy, Condi gets caught. Main thing here is Jarvan gets spotted. And this is something that we saw MXG do a lot, where he just went in and started fighting the enemy jungler and winning most of these battles. Kaido being in mid lane, but Janna's moving already from bottom, so you can see that World Elite do have priority, and Condi most likely will just have to flash here, or he's just going for the plant. That is bold. Dragon's gonna sneeze at him once. Good stuff, good stuff. The early ward from, I think it was Crown. Was it Crown? Who was it? Who placed this juicy ward over here? Let's take a step back, and who are we giving credit? Oh, Crown. Alright. Worked out fine. There's something like an MXG classic. I think it's more of a Jarvan classic more than anything, that you just look for these trades. And Coney is now set behind quite a bit. He loses a lot of health in that exchange, and Gragas can continue to farm away. The reasoning for the Kha'Zix ban, I believe, is Kha'Zix Mozart together in the 2v2 mid lane is going to be a lot better than Gragas Malzahar. That is the big win condition here for Samsung. World Elite banned the Kha'Zix, and I think it's when you think about it more and more, it makes a lot of sense. If Kha'Zix might have been open, Ambition could have played it, and Ambition, I'm not too sure about how hot he is on Kha'Zix, as a player individually. But let's just take a look at it from a draft standpoint. Samsung. Oh, ambition. Okay. That is wild, man. That is super wild. This is, considering the information ambition has, he knows that Condi needs to go into bottom side and take his own blue. Ambition goes to check. Either he's on blue or he's not. And Condi shouldn't be healthy enough to do all camps. Let me just fix up my nose. Alright, we're back. What we're talking about. So the decision from ambition, I just want to explore where it comes from, right? So Jarvan either goes to blue or he doesn't, right? Either way, if ambition goes there and Jarvan's not there, he picks up a free blue, he has pressure from bottom. Janna and Varus on bottom have pressure. Okay. In a case where he is there and he cleared it already, he can look for him, right? Either he cancels his recall, he knows that Condi was unhealthy from before. And worst case scenario, Condi based and Gragas picks up 3 Wolves. Not a bad worst case scenario. Best case scenario, he runs into Condi and gets first blood. This is Condi, he should be flashing here, and Ambition's decision is clean here. It's very clean, knowing that Jarvan is low and looking for him. Where's the fucking flash, bro? Here, with after he gets punched once, right? After this punch, he's dead, right? The red buff will kill him. The auto attack didn't. The red buff killed him, and he needed to flash the initial thing. And Ambition gets the best of both worlds. He gets some puppies, and he gets a kill. Ambition is freaking fed, man. He's fucking fed. Now the table has turned, man. Fucking Jarvan is cursed. Jarvan is cursed as a champion in this series. He just gets first blood every game. That's what's up. And this could mean a lot, This means so much. Well, let's see if Ambition is about to just freaking die off of this insane flash from Condi. Holy moly! Right, sheer. Oh. Might see an LPL versus SKT final. Right, let's take a step back. So the main difficulty here, Crown didn't base yet, didn't TP yet, and Ambition is doing this boldly. He's playing off of the information that there's no mid laner, but the TP from the ward that is placed to the right is very important. So I like here what Shia does. When does he place the ward? I just want to see. He placed the ward and then he started. Where's the ward, man? When did he place it? Like, do we get to see when he places it? I'm assuming he placed it before he started recalling. By looking at the timer, let's say he placed it before recalling. And then no flash on Ambition, he flashed to kill Condi. And then Condi is the one with the flash, and he just flashes into Ambition's E. Ambition doesn't gain a lot of distance, he maybe got like 70% of what is possible, and boom. Shia with his base numbers. This is the sauce Galio, this is the tank Galio, not AP Galio. No ketchup. Boom. Gonna get snapped in half. And the Malzahar matchup is always like this. The Malzahar matchup is 100% of the time always like this. Level 4 Malzahar, no mana, needs to base, needs to TP back. Every fucking time. And Ambition should be able to play around this. The Crown should be able to play around this. They should have this information for themselves. And it's a bit disappointing. See, with these double bosses, gonna be able to pressure and push in the waves. 957 seems to be doing fine. Kuva is also happy with fine at this point in the game, and bot lane is quite even. World Leads are very happy with even down bottom. It's been all about that 2v2 in the mid lane so far. And Crown still has his flash, so that matters. Samsung just chipping away at the bottom tower. They don't seem to be able to get any harass off. I think Kuve should be fine. I'm not too sure if he has E on cooldown here. Kuve doesn't seem like he has any E, but his Mega's almost coming up, so... this doesn't mean too much. What's the color of Rumble? Rumble heat bar. Why is it orange? Is this new? Maybe I just haven't seen Rumble in a long time. Like, I know I've noticed it before, but I never really cared enough to say it. Spectre Scout now should be able to win now, and Samsung managed to secure a bottom tower. You know, this is a lot about Samsung's early game, what they get to accomplish in the early game, because Twitch with 2 items should be able to win this game. And with Elite, it's about making sure they have as minimal losses as possible. And Malzahar in the mid lane is starting to shift the matchup in his own favor. And I don't know if the Merc threads is the correct buy for Shia. I don't think it is. I think Spectre Scout first over Mercs is a lot better. Mercs is pretty expensive and doesn't give you a lot of MR. Doesn't give you that much sustain, and all it does is get you out of silences faster, and I don't think that's really clutch right now. And of course, Mercs later is good, but right now, don't know, Kevin. Not a fan of it. I think it's healthy for World Elite to maintain lane matchups, especially with Crown having TP advantage, right? If Galio tries to create something crazy just to break the game for Twitch, he can always TP after him. And right now in the current state, you know, Varus and Janna being bottom against Twitch and Taric, they're going to win that lane matchup. Crown is slowly going to chip away on Shia and win. Malzahar has his passive and his abilities to just kill the small voidlings, and that matters a lot. Mountain Drink seems to be the name of the game. Samsung have been doing this thing a lot in other games where they commit into the roam into mid lane completely. It looks like they're just killing crap down bottom side. Kundi is walking up top to potentially punish Kuve, but Kuve is almost a mega, so he should be fine, no problem. Kundi showing top, gives Samsung the room to just commit into this, and Crown is positioning bottom to delay Galio's grand entrance. Galio ultimate. He can't really use it right now. He's getting blown by Malzahar in the bushes. Oh, where's the Rumble ultimate? I've missed the Rumble ultimate. Okay, that's the barbecue. Maybe could have waited a bit longer with the barbecue. Koji J dies without doing much. Ruler flashes over. Kuve is still alive in this. Malza's coming in, and how in God's name did Galio get his grand entrance off? Oh, the space age! Nah, but Crown. Crown. How did this happen? So Crown is blowing him right now. You know, you can see that this, as they stop up and the ult goes off cooldown right there. Boom. So right now he's ulting him, right? But it means that his Q was used poorly somehow. Like his Q was used for some random shit. And Galio was just allowed to ult in here and forced Ruler to flash. Would they have won anyway? Not too sure. You know, the biggest issue here is that Gnar doesn't have Mega when the fight starts. It's on cooldown right now, and it's not even stacking. Like right now it starts to stack, but that's like so far away from it. And World Elite have very high base numbers to teamfight with. You know, Samsung did have opportunities, you know, in the lane phases. You know, 1v1, 2v2, they are very strong. But right here, are they just overcommitting, plain and simple? It's hard to see the engage coming, right? Like Jarvan is just going through lane, and the moment they spot him, they start running and gunning. Should they have played more towards Ambition's side and just run towards blue side jungle instead? When they see Jarvan, like they play towards left a bit more and then move towards Galio when this happens. I don't think they see this TP. They don't know about this TP. And the biggest issue here is that they are so split up. I think the play is definitely to walk where Ambition walks and go to the left and meet up with Malzahar. And then try to find Galio and cut him off and then rotate into mid. So when Jarvan appears, you just walk left, boom, and then Janna can disengage, Gragas can disengage, no problem, nothing's gonna happen to you. Rumble might still get some insane ulti off, right? I can't really completely predict the situation, what it would be. But World Elite definitely are putting themselves in a scenario where they are very strong. They are forcing a fight, Galio getting his ult off, I don't think that should happen. But I think regardless, they should lose that fight, and Crown gets smacked down eventually, and World Elite are, you know, they basically opened the game now. They opened the game, and Galio got most of the kills, but in the end, it doesn't matter, you know, it's a one team fight for World Elite, and they just want to go further and further into the game. Their team fighting is always going to be strong, right? They scale into the game very well, and their team fighting is insane. So Samsung just need to keep playing the split game, but it might be more difficult now, knowing that Samsung don't have summoners. As long as Kondi can look for those EQ into ultimates out of fog, then, you know, it's going to be very difficult for Samsung to stay away from this. So this Mega almost pops. You can see his Mega is taken away, but he gets stunned up by Taric. Boom, pow, click, clack, brrrah. And then that's a win. A rumble with the barbecue, though. Crazy stuff. He was healthy throughout that entire fight. Like, he was completely ignored. Like, he's just barbecuing away. And, you know, he's such a big spike right now, like with Liandry's Torment and World Elite are just showing so many qualities all the time. I think the teamfight precision and their drafting has been very sublime, and Samsung have not that many win conditions. Their win condition is to split push, and usually the teams that have that kind of win condition usually are just in the worst position, because forcing Nashor is the thing, you know, especially when there's fucking 15 tanks in the game that can just ignore Nash damage. And this is going to look tough for Samsung, I believe. Even with this goal advantage, you know, I feel like they need to snowball this a bit further in order for this to really mean something. They still have this window where Twitch doesn't have 2 items, and I think if they reach that point, then it's over. But right now, they still have like some wiggle room. Gnar can win split still, and Samsung do have the winning lanes. Malzahar does very well into Galio at this point, and so forth. Crown loses his position in mid lane by walking up top, and Shia just clears the wave, because he starts hitting it before anything happens. Excuse me for my yawning. Ginsu's finished on Varus. This is a big spike for him. Alright, let's take a look. Rumble TP is coming off cooldown very soon. I need to just check where he is. Rumble's down bottom. Kuve doesn't have anything. TP up on both mid laners. This could get explosive. The main thing here is the ultimate here from Janna is huge. Ruler's surviving for a very long time. Code JJ is gonna get caught up now. Not a lot of damage on World Elite, especially when Twitch is out of mana. Rumble is very important in this, and the damage output for World Elite without Rumble is not that high. This is not the greatest fight that World Elite could have gone for, because it's very deep, you know. They use EQ to get in. They use EQ to get in, and then Galio with his combo onto Ruler. Ruler still has barrier, and Core JJ gets a very good ultimate off. Together with Ardent Sensor, that's a very tanky AD. He also has Ninja Tabi. It's very hard to one-shot Ruler in this case, and I think forcing like this was definitely off. If it wasn't under the tower and maybe it was in a different position of the lane, maybe like Janna should have been the real target, where we go for Janna and try to one-shot her instead of trying to kill Varus, because she was in the same boat as Ruler at this point in time. Like Core JJ didn't have flash. But a very good Taric ultimate, and the Janna ultimate is just channeled to full, and that is the big issue. And Mystic doesn't do that much damage at this point in time. A Ruler with Ardent Sensor, Ginsu's can lifesteal a lot, and forcing like this was definitely bad from World Elites, and World Elites are going to lose a tower off of this. Maybe even Rift Herald. Kuve is in mid lane, rushing away. I like this type of play from top laners when they rotate together with the team, so they are ready and ready to rotate in case there's a fight. And on top of that, like, his teammates have an easy time rotating into him, if that is the name of the game. Samsung once again, you know, they have a lot of spikes here. The last time World Elite 1 was together with Rumble. Rumble spiking as well on Leandris. That matters too. Shea missing his E onto Ruler. It's also something that is very important. Fantastic Gragas ultimate. Good shit. So Varus joined a base and started walking topside once again, sending Naren to bottom to match Rumble. I think this is only about the lane matches more than anything. Samsung just go for second top tower. Rumble doesn't have the audacity to even ult. How hard can Samsung snowball? 2017. They are pretty far ahead. That 5 from top did give them a lot. There was a really fast Rift Herald pickup, and Rift Herald was used in mid lane, but it didn't do much. It just prompted Samsung to just run away here. Cowardly, almost. And Twitch is walking down bottom again. Maybe they can get the tower in the next wave, but the main thing, Samsung can always rotate in the bottom, no problems. Samsung have a lot of damage to do onto Nashor, especially when Crown's going to finish his Leandries. So the goal for Samsung is going to be securing a very early Nashor here and continue on to that like avenue of exploration. Because if they get the first Nashor, all of a sudden maybe they can even finish. 6k gold lead is not something to shy away from. World Elites still have some tools to get back into the game. They have some teamfight capabilities. The gold is in the turrets that World Elite have, so it's not like concentrated gold, it's kind of spread out gold. It's not in the same sense that everyone on the team have, like, it's not like, yeah, Malzahar has 10 kills, that is where this gold advantage is from, you know, it's turret gold, you know, and one fight can change that very fast. I'm just a bigger fan of World Elite's comp coming into the later stages of the game. We just have to see how Samsung pressure with Malzahar on sides and Varus, Janna and Gragas in mid lane and then Nara in the bottom. It can get very interesting. I think Malzahar could also potentially like one-shot Rumble if he was in the 1v1, like with the E, like a Q, E, W into ult. So once again, the name of the game, taking down Nashor for Samsung. World Elite have 2 items on Twitch, might make a difference, you know, if you compare. You know, the main thing is with this gold advantage, as I said, it's all global gold. This is 4 turrets, and that is what amounts to the gold advantage, right? Sure, there's like 20 to 10 CS advantage on the lanes as well. That matters, you know, of course, that matters. But right here, you know, if we compare the counterparts, we have 2 items on Twitch with the lack of boots towards Varus. 2 big items on Galio in comparison to Malzahar. You know, sure, they have some pocket money and will spike first on the next item. But right now, as it stands, you know, if there was a teamfight situation, the item differential is very similar. You know, the items are very close and World Elite still have, you know, a lot of ways back into the game. So I think this gold graph here, or not gold graph, but the gold statistic can be misleading sometimes. 957 under a lot of pressure though. This matters a great deal, right? It's all about the split push game for Samsung. That is the late game win condition for them, and Kuve is doing fantastically here. He's out-trading 957 big time and managing to get towers under his nose. World Elite going for the fight, Ruler in the mix. Gets knocked up, gets taunted up. Tarek's stun does not land. Ruler has flash still, but he can't flash over to the Rumble. And the Rumble barbecue is so well placed. Like, where does Ruler flash right here? The barbecue comes down, and you know, Ruler doesn't want to smell like plastic. You know, it doesn't want to be cold. He doesn't want to be cold. Well, let's take a step back here and just assess the situation. We can see that World Elite are just trying to find angles now, and then the Gali ult comes in. Boom. Rule gets chain CC'd up. Taunted, doesn't flash over the wall because of the barbecue. And that's something they're very happy with. Now this is kind of a best case scenario for World Elites. Of course, the best case scenario will be they got Nashor and Ace, blah blah blah. But they forced Kuve's TP. They forced Kuve's TP, no cancellation, no sauce, no ketchup. It is plain and simple. Kuve TP'd in. That's going to be a long cooldown, and that's going to force Kuve to group a bit more than he wants to. 957. To be fair, 957 doesn't really have TP either. So if Kuve is going bottom and matching with 957 and 957 is stuck with him bottom, then that's better for Kuve, because like Rumble is better in team fights and Kuve is better in split. So if he can keep him there, it is better. So that is a bit unfair to say. Rumble comes in. I don't know if Ruler could have survived earlier if he just flashed something. And then there goes Code JJ and Ruler together. Not sure it's the greatest time for Woodley to be doing red buff. Kinda giving up mid lane priority. She is the one going bottom now because of his armor numbers and MR numbers against the Gnar. Should be quite fine. He's the one with the TP as well. But Woodley doing this red buff means they are just completely giving this up, which is kind of strange when you think about it. It's an Infernal after all. They had all the cooldowns they needed to be able to fight and could have potentially just contested that mid wave instead of going for the red buff. Because the moment they lost that mid wave, they lost the position onto the Drake, and there was just no way for them to contribute to that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Another situation. No flash Code JJ. Balzar, no flash. He gets both of the people with no flash. They're stuck in the barbecue. They're getting eaten alive, man. I think Crown avoided it by a little bit. You know, you can see that the stripe could have been placed better. Right there, the Rumble ultimate could have been placed a lot better. If it's on the Malzahar right now, I think Malzahar would have been so much lower. Code JJ just ults on top of it, and oh, the Taric ultimate is huge. But the long fights are so much better for Samsung. My goodness. So by the looks of it, it doesn't seem like the fight could have started any better. But the Rumble doesn't burn Malzahar right now. And then the EQ out from Condi, is it correct? Like, he just queues to the flag again, so he has EQ up next. Not sure what Condi is doing after that. Like, he's running back and forth, going to Gragas and then going back, and Condi was kind of trolling here. Samsung also managed to zone away Taric here. Like, the ultimate from Taric is not the greatest, right? It's like it saves Twitch, but it's just not good enough. Mystic is coming in, and he gets Malzahar ulted straight up, and nothing is there to cancel. The position is just not that great. Like, the engage looks amazing, right? Because he catches the two people without flash. But then when you put it into this consideration, looking at Woodley's positioning, it's hard to step into here. I'm just gonna put on Epic Pen. Right here, this is like a bad spot to go into. Going through here is also hard. Okay, so first, Engage comes in when Twitch and Tarek are not in position. Just because they're not in position, Samsung can actually use this space to fight. This is a very important space for them, and they can use it. And Ruler is fine standing there because Ambition comes in and Kuve and Ambition zone out Tarek. Twitch going in by himself right here is pretty bad. And the best case scenario for Twitch is that he is positioned like here or here when it's happened, so they can actually focus on these people together. But the issue comes out here when the engage comes in, the follow-up isn't like maximal, and then right there, boom, Tarek ultimate lands to prevent, like, saving from Malzahar ultimate, but it wasn't good enough. And Ben just gets zoned out here by Ambition. No, I think plain and simple, the engage was good, but not that great. And Samsung will get the Baron they long hoped for. At first glance, it looked really good though. Like Jarvan caught the two people without flash, but then like Ambition and Kuve took over like the most important space of the fight, and Twitch couldn't get a good position. CoreJJ played very good by just ulting and not being afraid of being stuck in the barbecue, which mattered a lot in this case. Kuve now with TP up, going to play the split push game. World Elite need to look for a similar scenario where they just look for the engage. A lot of more flashes are up now on Samsung, so it's going to be harder. They might need to do it twice, 2 rotations of it. Ruler is the one without flash though, and he's getting comboed down now, but he has Withstand, so he can sustain this for a long time. And the damage comes down. Malzahar just ults onto Mystic by the looks of it. See, Tarek ultimate comes in now, and Kuve gets a pretty huge ultimate onto Samsung here. I mean, onto the enemy team. Catches the most important targets, and I think at this point in time, Samsung is just too far ahead. So mission accomplished. They did snowball the fact that they had a lot stronger lanes in the early game. Or not a lot stronger lanes in the early game, but they did manage to stall out the lanes to the point where they are a lot stronger with the Gnar and the Malzahar, and also Varus and Janna. Managed to get first tower. World Elite did make some comebacks though with their team fighting, which was impressive. And then we had this fight at Baron that looked pretty good, but ended up being pretty bad because of how Ambition and Kuve played it as tanks. And we could take a look at that again, because there's a lot to learn from that for a lot of people. Like the way Kuve and Ambition take control over space here is super important. This was the Infernal Drake, okay. Then Ambition, like right here we see the engage, and the fact that Ambition and Kuve are controlling this space right here. This is the most important space, because this space is not something you want to walk into when you want to fight into here. This is a very narrow space, and it's not that great to stand there. But Kuve does a good job of zoning, Gragas zones, and it's all about just surviving the initial burst right from World Elite. It's about surviving that Galio and Jarvan combo with the Rumble ultimate, and after that happens, you know, you will do a lot more damage in the longer run. Like Gnar with his Black Cleaver, Ginzu on Varus, and Malzahar, of course. Very happy to have long fights, and after that initial engage doesn't bear any fruit, then World Elite fell short in the fight. Sure, it might look different if Twitch is super fed and super far ahead and you can do a lot of different things, but in this case, this engage that looked so good was just in Samsung's favor because of the position here of Kuve and Ambition, mostly. Hard for World Elite to get in here into this area as well. Like this is, like World Elite was super far away from the fight. It was a good engage, but no team. Samsung delivering a very well-played game. I think World Elite made it easier for them, definitely, with the commitments they did on top, commitment they did on around the Baron area, and that was definitely a problem for them. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace. Westside. Boom.